What do you think of the J-Pow throwing a little wrinkle into the market today?
He didn't say anything that we shouldn't have expected him to say. It drives me crazy. We have these big reactions. I don't understand why.
Somebody knows something. What's happening, everybody? It's your boys, Steve Straz over there in blue, Chicago Sean McLaughlin over here in red. I don't know what our colors mean. They don't mean anything. But man, what a day in the markets. If you just looked at the price action, you would think that Mr. Powell would said something that spooked everybody, but it didn't sound like he said anything. Is it what he didn't say? Is that what it is, Straza?
I think he came out very hawkish. There was very little dovish, tone to anything he was saying. But just like I was saying to you off air, it seemed like pretty standard, what we could have expected him to kind of come out and say. He's just reacting to the economic data that we have. Job market looks good, he said. Inflation, they're going to keep trying to get to that 2% target, which means there's more work to do. You're getting a pretty, strong sell-off across the board in all groups. Tech, growth, cyclicals leading a little bit, showing a little bit of relative strength, but everything's really getting hit pretty hard today.
Yeah, we were saying, or I was saying to you just before we went live that this sell-off, I actually kind of like it because the frustration I've been having as someone who likes to put on directional options trades in a bullish market, we've been in a bullish tape, but every stock that we like, they just seem like they've moved too far, too fast, and they need to consolidate at the very least. And so I think that the price action we're seeing today, I'd like to see a little bit more of it, to be honest, Straza. I mean, I don't want to see us, go back and test the lows from last fall, but we can pull back a little bit here. I think long term that could be very good. At least for future setups. I think a lot of bases need to reset, is what I'm trying to say.
You're talking about basically some of the strongest stocks. There's more than enough room for some backing and filling because they've had some really nice runs off of their October or December lows.
Absolutely. So, hey, you guys tuned in not because you want to hear our broad market analysis. This is the Flow Show where we dig into any unusual options activity that we may have seen that may lead us down a path into a potential options trade. So you guys can kind of see how the sausage is made here, how we make trades. So Straza, why don't you pull up the Follow the Flow report and let's see. I see a lot of green on it. What's caught your attention there?
All green, and I think there's a big theme here. I think you'll like this. We talked about it last week on one of our shows. Look at all of the internet content. It's really social media, right? So Snapchat, Pinterest, Spot-Ify, Meta, that's your Facebook, Match, Alphabet, Pinterest again. Even Roblox has a component of social, right? Internet. So to me, that's seems like almost a third of the list from the same industry group. What's going on there? Let's take a look at some social media charts. Let's do some live charting. What do you think?
Some live charting. I like it. This is really how the sausage is made.
Oh, sure. So social media stocks, peaked way back in February of 2021, fell almost 70%, right? And then bottomed in November and are now, about 50% off the lows. Zoom in a little bit. You have a nice base here shaping up. Draw upper bounds of the base, something like this. Little arc here. That's what we like to do. So this is a rounding bottom formation, right? It needs more time. Let's get back above these June highs from last year. I think there's a lot of opportunities in the space. I don't need to tell you because put a really nice trade on Meta platforms last week, right?
Yeah, we did. We had a trade that we put on Wednesday last week, and man, it worked in a hurry. I wish they all worked that way. They don't, but this one did, which is great. My first thought, considering the tape that we're in right now, when I look at this unusual options flow activity and see all the green and see all the option activity on the offer, so that sounds like aggressive buyers buying calls. It kind of makes sense to me, Straza, and this is why. This is, again, I'm going to go a little bit broader scope here, but people are probably seeing what I've been seeing, that the best stocks in the universe right now are all stocks that have had huge runs, and people don't want to pay these prices, or they're uncomfortable paying these what could be considered nosebleed prices. So maybe a smarter way to do it is, if you're concerned about the rug getting pulled or concerned about a day like today happening, you could much more clearly and better define your risks by getting involved in the options market to express a bullish bet. Instead of buying the stock, you could just buy calls and define your risk very clear. And it's a cheaper way and more capital efficient. So when markets are extended, maybe that's the move, and maybe that's what we're seeing a lot of people doing right now.
Yep. So it's a great point. These are almost all but two are calls on the offer, right? So this is just people buying long calls. You know how much you're going to lose. You know how much capital you're going to need for the trade. It's going to be a lot less than going out and buying the common. So I hear you on that. They're all pretty short term in nature, but some are going out to April, May, June here. The one that stood out really this week, I think it's by far the nicest chart on this list, had to be Spot-Ify. You know, you're talking about buying bases that have pulled back. This one hasn't even gone yet. It's about to go, right? So talking about, you know, some of these stocks, some of the best ones have really run a lot. They've already completed nice basing patterns like this, you know, and have made a nice leg up since making that resolution. Spot-Ify, you could still wait, buy strength on this on a move above 126. It looks like we're just about there today.
Yeah, and from an options trading perspective, I'm liking, if you look on my chart here, the implied volatility has fallen off the cliff. I mean, we're at the lowest levels we've been in over a year. So if you want to play Spot-Ify on a breakout here, this sets up an opportunity for us to really just play it simple and buy long calls. Just, one leg trade. You don't have to worry about a spread. Don't have to worry about anything like that. Just get long calls. And if we look at the options chain here, if we want to look into, let's say through most of the summer into August, I like to buy, when I'm buying long calls, I like to buy the 25 delta strike. That's just kind of my preference, because I feel like that gives me, nice leverage when I get it right, but I'm not risking a whole lot if I get it wrong. And looking at in August, we could buy the 165 puts, which by the way seems very far away, but this is the type of name that could make those kind of moves.
155? No way. I mean,
no, 165.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, 165 looks like we can get them for less than $5 a contract. So we'd be betting on a move north of 170 by August, which, I mean, it was at 180 not too long ago, less than a year ago, or a little over a year ago, excuse me. But this would be an aggressive bet, but volatility is as cheap as it's been all year. So maybe you buy the calls and you don't necessarily need it to go back to new highs, but there's a tactical trade here. You could buy those calls and maybe double your money pretty quickly if this thing gets a move going. I don't hate this trade.
It's about 30% to 165. Right, so this trade's a winner. 30, 35%, 40%. Big winner. Look, it was a $300-$400 stock almost at the 2021 highs. Absolutely killed. It fell about 82%, during 2021 and 2022. I think it's just getting started here. Looks like we have a nice trend reversal coming underway. And I love seeing the relative trend, working on a trend reversal here as well.
I think the way that I would play this one, Straza, this is just me, and I'm not saying this is what everyone should do, and this is me just being a little bit more creative. But I think if I were to get into this trade, let's just keep it simple, keep it small. Let's say I would buy 2 contracts, right? I think I would buy 2 contracts. I'd pay $5 or a little less than $5 for them. If these calls double, so they're worth 10, I would sell one at 10. And then I'd hold a runner and maybe sell the next one at 15. And, not trying to be greedy, but, if this thing runs, there's no reason why these calls can't get to $15 a share or $15 a contract if there's a run in the works. I think that's the way I would play it. And again, because the options are cheap right now, so it's, it'll help. It helps put the odds in your favor.
Yeah. And what do you have? 5 months?
Yeah. Through summer.
It's already almost doubled, from where it was just last year. So, These stocks move, these growth stocks. I think there's definitely something here. I like this one a lot. Maybe it'll be your next meta, Sean.
Oh, we're gonna have that happen 2 weeks in a row. I doubt it, but I like your enthusiasm.
Hey, when the internet stocks are good, what do? You go back and you buy more internet stocks. That's what these.
Hey, you're not lying. You're not lying.
One more thing. I would love to just show you. I was just looking at this chart. How cool is this? So we use this thing called Fibonacci extensions at All Star Charts.
Ooh, I had an improv show this weekend and I wore my All-Star Charts. Fibonacci is my homeboy t-shirt. And I wore that on stage and a lot of people were giving me some side eyes looks like, what the heck is that? Nobody had any idea what that was. And I loved it. Anyway, sorry, Bar.
I mean, listen, the Fibonacci gear is always a fan favorite. Love the Fibonacci gear. Look it when you anchor this from its IPO highs back in 2013 down to its all-time lows in 2016, and the Fibonacci extensions are based off of those two levels, right? Just look at how perfect it's followed this. This is why we use this as a nice roadmap, and we say they're logical levels of support and resistance. Look at how the gaps, just like magnets, from one Fibonacci extension to the next. And look, here we are back at another one. So
what do you think? Is this a bearish setup here? Are we going back down to 12?
I mean, the trend's lower, right? Here. This is a 200-day moving average, coming right down over price. I mean, Sean, we were just talking about how a lot of these types of stocks have nice bases and are trading up around here at the 261.8. We're down at the lows in Chegg. So this is a laggard. I would not be looking to buy it, but if you wanted to, you have a really nice level there. There's momentum down the lower pane. But no, I'm not seeing much I like, except for the fact that if you did want to trade it and bet on some mean reversion, you do have a very clear level.
All right. Well, very good there, Straza. Look, constructive market action overall today, I think, as someone who's bullish in the medium to longer term right now. I like the trading action we're seeing right now because we need a lot of resetting of bases. Meanwhile, I think you got a trade that hits the spot, no pun intended, on that Spot-Ify. If someone wants to, if people are feeling like they want to ride this internet wave a little bit higher without, paying through the nose for it, this chart is like looking like it's just gathering strength and ready to pop higher. And the options are affordable. So if you want to just play it with simple calls, that's the play. Gun to my head, Straza, if I had to put a trade on right now, I would put that trade on. That's the one I would do.
Nice setup. You played against those August highs, 126. We got a target of about 190. If that hits, setup that you just talked about, those August monthly calls, 165s, right?
Yep.
Real nice.
Yeah, and look, 115. If we're below 115, we don't want to be involved in this thing. So that's our stop loss level, or at least that's my stop loss level. I think it'd be right around 115, maybe 114. Yep. Basically last week's low. If we break last week's low, I'm out. That's my signal that we're early or wrong. Either way, we want out.
Clear levels, nice chart, relative strength, checks a lot of boxes. It's in a strong group that's been working. Lots to like here. I think Spot-Ify is a nice long opportunity.
All right, Stress, go load up. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This has been the Flow Show. We'll be back next week. Until then, trade them well. Take care. Thanks, Raza.
Later.